Hey everyone, welcome to an NFL video. This one we're going over my favorite plays for the Monday Night Showdown slate, the Bears versus the Redskins. Not the most exciting game in the world, but it's still football. And if I seem a little dejected in this video, I apologize. The Browns just continue to rip my heart out every single year, time and time again. I wasn't even expecting them to win that game really, but then they make it close at the end, and they ended up just doing the play calling was terrible. I don't know. But I'll try to put that aside. And before we continue, if you could leave a like, and if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out, and I really appreciate it. You can also follow me on Twitter at ChrisPenel16. And anyway, let's just get into it. We'll just pretty much go down the list here. So Mitch Trubisky, he has not been great at all this season. Very bad start. He had 9 points week 1, 5 points week 2. He has a 58% completion percentage. He's only averaging 4.8 yards per attempt, which is worse than the league outside of Sam Darnold, which he's only had one game. I will say, though, it's a good matchup versus Washington. They've given up 28.4 points per game to the quarterback position. That was in Dak Prescott and Carson Wentz, who are obviously much better quarterbacks than Mitchell Trubisky and much better offenses, but still. And they're also allowing near 300 yards per game to the position and about 3 touchdowns per game. So this is a good matchup for Trubisky. It could be a get-right game for him. Now, this is a very low Vegas total. He's on the road, and I do not see much scoring. But he is still in play. He is a quarterback. I would not put him in the captain spot. I'm going to reserve that for running back or wide receiver. But I do think he's in play at one of your flex spots. But again, he's not an exciting play just because of how bad he's been so far this season. But soft matchup. Then the next guy is Case Keenum, the opposing quarterback in this game. And it is never fun playing Case Keenum. Although he did have a very good week 1 versus the Philadelphia secondary. He had scored 30 points, had 16 points versus Dallas week 2. So honestly, he hasn't been that bad. But it's a whole different animal playing against this Bears defense. They're shutdown D, elite defense all around. It's a low Vegas total, and honestly, Keenum should have a tough time here. The Bears have only allowed 14.8 points per game to quarterbacks this season, and this entire Redskins offense is anything but elite. It's a bad offensive line. I don't know how they're going to block Khalil Mack. So don't love Case Keenum here, and honestly, I have no problem if you don't want to play him. And let's go to Allen Robinson up next at 9,800. He is pretty expensive, but I actually love him a lot versus the Redskins defense. He's the main guy for Trubisky. He has a 69% weighted opportunity share this season and a 39% market share, which is very high. And Washington is allowing 58 points per game versus wide receivers and over 200 yards per game. You will see some Josh Norman, but Robinson is the top pass catcher of the slate with his ability and volume, so I have no problem with the matchup here. And I do like him a lot. And last Thursday Night Showdown slate, he did get 20 points. And it was in a tough matchup versus the Green Bay Packers, who we now know has a very improved defense. So I think Robinson should be fine, even though Mitchell Trubisky cannot be trusted. David Montgomery, he comes in at 9,400. And I actually like him a lot. He was finally got involved last week after seeing 18 carries and 3 targets compared to his measly 6 carries week 1. I will say, though, he only played 44% of the snaps, which is not ideal, but when he was on the field, he got the ball, and although he did not blow your socks off by any means, he was still good enough to get by, and he scored a touchdown. He's clearly their best back, and he should get fed the ball versus the Washington defense, allowing 24 points per game and over 120 yards to the running back position. So do you like David Montgomery? He's one of my favorite spots for the captain spot. As like I said, I either want a running back or wide receiver. Not really wanting to play Trubisky or Case Keenum in the captain. And then there's some other guys I don't mind either, which we'll get into in a little bit. Terry McLaurin. Some people call him F1. Some people call him Scary Terry. Whatever nickname you like the most. I prefer Scary Terry. But he's produced each week of his young career so far. He's on the field nearly the entire game. He has a 90% snap count, which is outstanding, obviously. We hate guys that barely get onto the field. He's pretty expensive, though, but I wouldn't say it's worth it versus the Chicago Bears. It's a tough matchup, and he does have a 50% market share of this offense, but like I said, tough matchup versus this Bears secondary, so there's obvious risks there. Case Keenum is not the best quarterback in the world, but he's going to be force-fed the ball. He's the best option on that offense, so he's more of a volume play, not like a soft matchup play, but he should get there on volume alone. I mean, someone's got to get the ball on the Redskins. And then we got Vernon Davis at 7,800. So he's the next guy up for the always injured Jordan Reed. He saw 74% of the snaps last week and saw 11 targets total this season. Again, though, he draws a tough matchup versus the Bears, who were third DVOA versus tight ends last season, but they still gave up 17 points per game to them, so I guess they can leak a little bit of points. And, Vernon Davis, he's old, but he can catch the ball. Someone's got to do it for the Redskins. They should be trailing in this game, so they should have to pass the ball. So I think Vernon Davis is in play. I just wish he wasn't 7,800, which seems a little bit expensive for him. Right below him, Chris Thompson, who I actually like a lot. He's one of the core plays for me on this slate. Like I said, 7,400, and I know he's listed as a running back, but you're pretty much getting a wide receiver here, as he has 18 targets compared to 5 carries this season. Game script should have Washington trailing, which means more Thompson out of the backfield instead of Adrian Peterson, and I'd expect a lot of dump-offs because I expect that Bears secondary to wreak havoc on, Case Keenum on the offensive line, and they should be able to get good coverage versus the Washington wide receiver group. So a lot of dump-offs to Chris Thompson, in my opinion, so I think he's a fantastic play. He has, like I said, 18 targets through 2 weeks, and he's scored double-digit points each week, so I actually like Chris Thompson a lot. Flex spot, if you want to make him your captain, I honestly don't think it's the worst play. Just getting a cheaper captain, and I prefer David Montgomery or Allen Robinson, but Thompson is a valid option, in my opinion. Tariq Cohen, he is 6,800. And I don't think this game script is going to fit Cohen well. They should be winning this game, and he's more suited for playing from behind with how electric he can be in the passing game and in the open space. Honestly, just don't see much opportunity for him in this game. Week 1, he was fine. He had 10 targets, 8 receptions, got 12 points. Week 2, though, 4 points, and honestly, I see something more in the middle this game, which doesn't really excite me at 6,800, although he could always pop off for a big play. Obviously, Haskins and them aren't playing. Jordan Reed's out, which leads us to the Bears defense, who actually like a ton. I know they're very expensive at 6,200, but they're going to be one of the more popular plays on the slate, going up against a Washington team that lacks superstars and honestly much offensive talent at all. They should be able to get to the quarterback, rack up some sacks. And it's a low Vegas total, and they are 4-point favorites. They are on the road, but I think the Bears defense should be able to smash in the spot. And honestly, this could be one of those slates where you can get a defense in the captain spot and they pay off. So I do like the Bears defense. Trey Burton, he is questionable heading into the game. It was not productive last week versus Denver when he was on the field. It seems a little overpriced in my opinion as well. I don't see a ton of upside here. Plus, he only played 43% of the snaps, so not too interested in any Trey Burton for myself. Adrian Peterson comes in at 5,800. So I don't see this game turning into a Bears blowout by any means. But I prefer AP in games where the Redskins are leading, because if they are trailing, you can pretty much say goodbye to AP and hello to Chris Thompson. AP only played 29% of the snaps last week, which is not going to cut it for me. But if they do get near the goal line, he will get his opportunities to run it into the end zone. And next guy is Paul Richardson at 5K even. He's not a fun play by any means at all, but he is on the field a lot, playing 87% of the snaps, but he's only seen 10 targets through 2 weeks, which equals out to a 12% target share on this offense, which is not appealing because this is anything but a high-octane offense. So Paul Richardson, pretty much a boring play here, not really someone I'm too high on. Taylor Gabriel, he's on the field a ton. He has an 87% snap. He's on the field 87% of the time. He just relies on big plays, and I just can't trust this QB with Mitch Trubisky. He's not going to get the ball downfield. He's not throwing the ball downfield either. He can make big plays, but the volume will be low, and like I said, we cannot trust this quarterback, and plus I think the Bears try to keep this ball on the ground as much as possible, so Taylor Gabriel probably not fit in my lineups. If this is more of a shootout game, Taylor Gabriel would be more of a dart throw, but versus the Redskins, it's not my favorite spot in the world for him. Redskins defense, well, I want to play the Bears defense. I really want to play both defenses from this game. Well, I shouldn't say that. I like I said, this is going to be a low-scoring game, but I don't really trust the Redskins defense to stop the Bears, just absolutely shut them out or keep them like 7 points. The Bears should probably put up about 14, 20 points. And I much prefer the Bears defense, obviously. But I know they're more expensive. But still, playing defenses versus Mitch Trubisky tends to be profitable. As we all know, he is not the best quarterback in the world, does not put up a ton of points. So if you want to go contrarian, go with the cheaper defense and hope Mitch Trubisky just continues to suck on the road. Redskins defense is more of a, I know obviously you're pretty much just playing GPPs for showdown slates, but you're more of the GPP play compared to the Bears play. If this was on a main slate, that's how I'm trying to put it. And the next guy that leads us with Trey Quinn at 3,800. He is not an exciting play. He's more of a boring play, but most of these guys are at this price tag. Honestly, though, not the worst play in the world. Trey Quinn is on the field nearly 80% of the time and has a 16% target share, which I know is not a lot, but still, he's really cheap. He's 3,800. He's the slot guy. He's more of a possession guy, and you're hoping he falls into the end zone, just the way Trey Quinn is. Not gonna get a lot of, down the field targets. He's only had a long catch of 14 yards this season. Just like I said, possession guy. Hope he gets into the end zone. Anthony Miller at 3,600. He has not done anything this season. He has one target, and he's only had one target through 2 weeks on a Mitch Trubisky-led offense. No, thank you. And the next two up are the kickers, which they are where they are. This could turn into a kick fest, so they honestly could be in play. I know the Bears kicker had a big kick last week to win them the game. Hopkins, they are what they are. If it turns into a kick fest, they're going to hit value. If not, not really, but they are cheap. And then we have Adam Shaheen at 2,800. He's a lot cheaper than Trey Burton. Honestly, he might be the better play. If by chance Burton does not play, it's a big boost to Shaheen. But still, he was on the field 34% of the time last week and did see 3 targets. You're pretty much hoping the defense loses him on a goal line bootleg and he gets into the box at this price tag. But honestly, I do like the price of Shaheen much better than Burton's, as I think Burton's way overpriced. And Shaheen honestly might have the same amount of upside as him at only 2,800. And then we got pretty much the rest of these guys are pretty much just dart throws. Patterson is more of a gadget play guy. You only saw about 25% of the snaps last week. He's the ultimate boomer bust play, hero or zero. He didn't even have a target last week. Did get 2 rushing attempts for 50 yards. Really, that's what you're hoping for him. You're hoping he gets, loose on a gadget play and he ends up scoring a long touchdown or just makes a big play on the ground. Maybe doesn't get into the end zone, but gets some good yardage. So really, Patterson, not like a core player or anything for me, but, boomer bust guy. Mike Davis, thank goodness he finally stopped getting involved. He had 5 carries week 1, but he also had 7 targets, 6 receptions. Last week, they abandoned him, no targets, had 3 carries for 1 yard. Thank goodness David Montgomery is the much better player, so I'm glad Mike Davis is no longer a thing. So definitely don't want to play any Mike Davis at 1,800, especially with all my interest in David Montgomery. Wendell Smallwood, no. The rest of these guys, no, except Jeremy Sprinkle at 200. I do want to talk about him. So there's nothing exciting about playing Jeremy Sprinkle besides his last name is Sprinkle, so that's a little fun. But he was on the field 35% of the time last week, and believe it or not, he has scored at least 1 fantasy point each week. 1.8 points week 1, 2 points week 2 versus Dallas. He's only 200, so you're hoping for something to happen to Vernon Davis for him to get some more run on the offense, or just a lucky touchdown. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for just all the players. If I had to pick my core, I'm not going to put a lineup this time, but if I had to pick my core, it's going to be Allen Robinson, David Montgomery, and I like Chris Thompson a lot. Because, there's going to be points scored in this game. I don't think either offense is going to, just absolutely blow anyone out. But someone's got to do something on this slate, and I do think Robinson and Montgomery are the top options for the Bears, and I like running it back with Chris Thompson, as I do think they are going to be trailing, and he's going to see work through the air. Going to get a couple carries as well, but I do like that safe floor we get with Thompson with this volume through the air. So anyway, guys, that's going to be it for the video. Remember to leave a like, and if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out. I really appreciate it. Follow me on Twitter at ChrisPennell16. I hope you guys had a fantastic Sunday. We were all over Keenan Allen. That ended up being great. Hope you guys played him too, and I'll see you guys in the next video.